Hey guys, what's up? It's TheWolfpack here, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day. If it's not today, then I hope yesterday was a good day, or whenever was Valentine's Day for you. It depends on which day this video gets on YouTube. But anyways, today I have something special for you since the Lego Batman movie is out. I've been pretty excited, to be honest, but I wanted to do something rather special, and I've been wanting to do my own custom Batman figure, but with no like movie, like just a Batman figure for myself, or something, like just make a Batman figure, custom figure. And I was like, well, since the Lego Batman movie is coming out, why not make a tutorial and show other people how to make your own Lego Batman figure? And I'm going to show you guys today how to make your own Lego Batman figure custom made at home with the use of some tools that you might or you might not need, but most of these tools you will need in order to make a figure similar to what I'm going to do, or to what I'm going to show you how to do today. As you can see here, I have my Batman vs Superman Batman figure that I made last year. Today we're gonna do a much more sophisticated, complicated figure, but at the same time it's gonna be very similar but with more detail. And the way that I did this figure was that I took an original Lego figure and just added stuff onto it. But today we're gonna do a Lego Batman figure completely out of scratch, and here is the base of the figure. The main things that you will need to buy for your figure will be a Batman cowl, a cape, and a Batman head. That's all you might need to get. If you're good at sculpting, which I am not, honestly, you don't need a cowl. You can make your own Batman without a cowl. If you are okay with painting a Lego head that you have spare, then I guess you won't need the head, but I will, because I don't like painting heads. That's pretty complicated. And the one thing that I would be okay with my own Batman is to make my own cape, but I had this one extra, so I'm not gonna do a custom cape. I'm not gonna cut it out and paint it or whatever, but I will give you a tip or two on how to make your own Lego Batman cape if you don't have any. The tools that you will be needing are, of course, paint, but not any paint. Just you need legit paint, okay? Like, no joke, you will need legit paint. And the brands that I'm using are Folk Art, which is the metallic colors. I'm pretty sure I will be using all of these colors. Maybe the one that that I will not be using, or at least the least, it will be silver, which is dark silver, because I like dark silver for some things, so for like battle damage and all that. I will be using a lot of black, some gold or yellow depending, and white. And what this is a satin varnish. This we apply it onto the paint so that it doesn't scratch off, and it gives it a bright shine to it. Looks pretty cool, but it all depends on you. These are just some options, but you will need like black and white and yellow for what I'm gonna do today, or gold. Like, you can do either yellow or gold for what I'm gonna do today, or both, but you will see. You will need a little stand. This is, like, I would always recommend using a Lego stand so that you can stand your figure when you're working on it. You hold on to the stand and paint with the other hand, and you can just put him aside, and you can be sure he won't tumble down and stuff. You will need a sandpaper, at least for what I'm gonna do, because there's gonna be a lot of three-dimensional elements that we're gonna add to this figure. And also you can see that there's printing on the body, so on the torso, so we're gonna sand that off so that we have a clean and ready, like, I don't know, clean body to work on. And you will need super glue. Be careful with this. I've had terrible experiences with that. You will need toothpicks, because I use toothpicks to paint. I don't use paint brushes or anything. I use toothpicks with a rather sharp. I try to keep a sharp end on my toothpicks whenever I paint, and a more dull end when it comes to painting fabric and all in bigger areas. But most of the time it's fine, a very sharp end on a toothpick, because that's what I use. But you can use a toothbrush, a paintbrush, if you're good at it. We will be using some plastic. This is clear plastic that you can get with food packagings or action figure package. You can get it anywhere. It's inexpensive, but you will be needing, or I will be using, some plastic, because as I said, there will be three-dimensional elements added to the figure once he's done. And if you're gonna make your own cape, this is fabric from a bandana that I got at a craft store. It's like, I don't know, $3, and it's this huge piece of fabric that you can use. I cut that fabric down because it was too large for my workspace, so I'm using this, and as you can see, it's all dirty and all, because of how many times I've painted various pieces, and I've cut it a lot of times. But we are not going to make a cape for Batman this time, so I'm not going to use the fabric, and I'm going to set it aside. And reference. We should always have some sort of reference if you're going to make your own custom figure, and this is my reference of Batman. I'm not going to make it 100% like that, but he's going to be my reference. We're going to take some ideas from that. And yeah, of course, the Lego Batman movie is out, and the sets are out. And a little tip that I'm going to give you, if you want to do one of the steps will be to make the belt, the utility belt. One of the steps, or actually one of the tips that I'm going to give you, is that you can either use the original Lego belt piece that is new to the figure in every Lego Batman set, or you can use my technique, which I will show you, using the plastic. But if you want to go easy, you can use the original Lego belt, which I'm not going to use for my figure. I'm going to go a little bit more complicated. And we're using a batarang, so I'm sure you have some of these extras at your house or somewhere. We're going to slightly modify it. We're going to trim it a little. But yeah, those are the other two tips. Or you can just give Batman the original Lego without modifications at all. So anyways, I believe that is it. A little tip. We're gonna disassemble Batman a little bit. So I always use something like this. The rod is to put the arms on, which I'm gonna do right away because we're gonna disassemble him anyway. So I'm gonna take the cowl off, the head off, the cape off, set it aside because we're not gonna do anything to the cape. I guess the body, the legs, and the body itself will be on this stand right here for now. And we're gonna put the arms on the rod because I always paint the arms / hands on a rod. And for now, I'm gonna leave the head aside, or you can just put it on the body. Or that is why I also use this for cowls or helmets or hair pieces or whatever I'm painting that goes on top of a head. So anyways, I'm gonna set everything up how I'm gonna start, and I will go with you all the way through the steps to make your own Lego custom Batman figure. And I will try to make it as fast as I can, and I know it's a little bit tedious, but making a custom figure is like that, and especially if you're just starting. I'm just trying to help you guys to just make what you like and help you get better at making customs. So yeah, anyways, let's move on. Alright guys, so the first step is, of course, if you're starting your figure just like me and your body or your torso has printing on it, you may want to sand it down. And I have this sandpaper, so I'm going to sand it down, but I did forget to mention a couple tools that you might need if you're going to do the exact same thing as me. You will need some tweezers like this, some tweezer beads to hold small things. Very useful tool. This one you will need if you're into making custom figures. It'll make your life easier with it. And lastly, I might be using an X-Acto knife, and these are rather dangerous to use, so if you're scared of using knives, if you don't have any experience, if you're a little kid, I would suggest that you ask your parents or guardian to help you out with these rather sharp tools. So anyways, I'm pretty sure you all know how to sand, so I'm gonna skip that part. I don't want you sitting through all the sanding, so I will come back once this is sanded down. Now that we have the torso all sanded down, we probably won't be using the sandpaper in a little bit. Just a little tip: always, every time you sand something down, it's gonna be very, like if it's a Lego piece, it's gonna be very I don't know, rough looking. So with your fingernail, just scratch the surface and a rather more shiny look will appear, as you can see there. And just make sure to do that, and your figure will look much better, and it'll have a much smoother surface to work on. And yeah, our next step will be, well, what I usually do is I usually work on my bottom up sometimes. So we're gonna do his boots, and if we're gonna take a look at our reference here, he has like a slightly triangle going upwards right there. So we're gonna try and do that, but first, what I try to do first is do the shoe part first. So this it's kind of hard to explain, but we're gonna do the bottom part first, and then we're gonna do the thigh area first. And I'm gonna take my toothpick, and we're gonna use our legit paint, organic and all, non-toxic. If you drink it, it's not my fault if you die, but it says non-toxic, so it's not gonna intoxicate you. So yeah. Anyways, what I usually do is I put everything on my hand like this, and then I just get some paint onto the very tip of the toothpick. I'm not gonna have you sit throughout the entire painting progress, but I will paint a little bit so you can see. But this part is rather easy. Just go like this throughout the entire foot area, and I'm gonna skip the video, and I'm gonna come back once both legs are fully painted on all four sides. So okay, so the shoe area is completed. You do not have to do a perfect job, so even if the lines aren't as straight, I don't know if, like, I didn't worry about doing straight lines, but because I'm gonna do longer, like I'm gonna do boots on him, not just the shoe area. So but I did do all four sides, as you can see here, all four sides. It's still drying up, so I'm gonna let this dry up right here. And I guess the next step that I would do is start working on the torso, and that's gonna be a little bit complicated, but we're gonna try that out, because what I would do is do the lines, like so the reference here, you see that there's a lot of like, we're gonna make the muscles, right? But there's extra texture to the suit. So I guess, I mean, when it comes to customizing a figure, you don't just go and make a figure. You have to make decisions and decide what would look good on your figure and what you would like on your figure and what colors, especially when it comes to the whole muscle thing. So I think I'm just gonna go with plain black for the muscles and for the suit textures. So I'm gonna start the muscles. So I'm gonna do a couple. I'm gonna show you how it's going, and I will talk a little bit more once it's done. So yeah, I'll be right back once more. So before I move on to the muscles themselves, I am going to give you some tips. I noticed that this Batman has a straight line going down like throughout his entire torso, so I went ahead and did that. However, you can see that the line is a little bit I don't know, off-centered. So the other reason that I love using toothpicks is that they have a solid end, not like paintbrushes. So what's easy to do with toothpicks is to just sharpen the line. Just try to like get the paint that's not where it's supposed to be off, like that. Just be gentle with it. Try to straighten out the I'm sorry, you're not seeing anything. Try to straighten out the line as much as you can, and if it doesn't work out the first time, just take the entire thing off. That's something very nice about the toothpick. Just scratch everything off. If it's like this, of course, scratch everything off and try to repaint it, of course, as straight as you can. And then with the toothpick, just go around like wherever it's not perfectly straight, or if you want to thin a line off or whatever, just go ahead and use the toothpick. And I know that my camera is not the best, but I'm trying my best to make this line as straight as possible, but at the end it'll be as straight as I possibly can make it. So yeah, so that's all I wanted to mention for now. I'm gonna go back and do some detail on the torso. Alright, so I have just finished doing some of the armor or suit textures to the torso, like of course the thick line that goes downwards, or like on the center of the torso, and I also did these lines that go to the sides of the torso, and I tried to make them as straight and as consistent as possible. And you may notice that I did separate the torso from the legs a little bit, and that is so that when I'm painting and I'm going downwards, the paint won't go onto the hips if I don't want it to, and that actually helps so that the paint on the torso dries, and if you're gonna move on and work onto the hips, you don't have any excess paint that you don't want on here, unless you want to continue the pattern. But I still will not recommend that, because if you're gonna separate the torso from the legs at some point, or simply there's this little bump right here between the torso and the hips, that if you paint over from the torso to the hips or vice versa, it'll just not look as good, because since there's this little bump, the paint's gonna get inside and it's gonna dry, and it's gonna stick both pieces together, and if you're gonna separate it, it's gonna peel some of the paint off. So that is why I recommend separating the torso from the legs just a little bit if you're gonna paint them. So yeah, the shoes on the legs have been dried up, so I'm gonna continue the boot design. I'm gonna keep using the black paint, which is probably the paint that you're gonna be using the most on this figure. So I'm gonna get more paint on my toothpick, and I'm gonna show you a little bit. We're gonna start from the bottom of the shoe a little bit right here. We're gonna go and cover this whole area. I hope you can see. I know my camera isn't the best, but I hope you get the whole picture in your head. So there, the entire top portion of the foot is covered. I'm gonna get more paint on. And we are going to go a little bit upwards, and I'm just gonna start making the triangle here. I'm not gonna make it too tall. I'm sorry if you can't see. Just the angle that this is at is a little bit hard for me to paint because I have to look at everything very close. I'm just gonna show you a little bit so that you get the idea. But basically we're gonna make a little triangle, like the whole boot's gonna be a triangle, and it's gonna go upwards right here, and then the boot is gonna be like, I don't know, around here or so. Something like that. I'll show you once I'm done. So I will be right back after I'm done with both boots on both legs. So guys, I am back, and man, that was a pretty long while for me to finish both boots on the legs. It took me, I don't know, like half an hour to just make the boots on the legs, like the whole design, and have it all perfectly aligned as much as I could, of course. But I just finished, and as you can see, this is still a little bit fresh. This one's fully dry pretty much, but there it is. The boots on Batman are done, so that is fantastic. So I will be doing a little bit of a pattern on the legs, like these patterns right here. I'm probably gonna do a few of those onto the legs, but that would be at the very end. But yeah, so right now what I'm probably gonna do is I'm gonna continue doing the torso, but first I want to do the arms. Of course you can continue the torso if it's up to you, but what I plan to do for the arms, I'm gonna paint a little bit the wrists black, just to make the extensions of his gloves, or yeah, his wristbands. I'm gonna make them longer so that I can super glue on the I don't know what you would call them, but the Batman, the thingies that he has on his wrists that I don't know what they are called, but basically the Batman wrist knives, whatever those are, I want to glue those on, but of course I want the surface to be black, so I'm gonna paint a little bit that area. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I will be back, and then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do on the torso. So I shall do that, and yeah, that's pretty much it for this guys. So I just finished painting the wrists on the arms, and that was pretty fast actually. I'm kind of surprised, but I'm gonna let these dry now, and I'm gonna go back and work with these in a little bit. I did paint completely the full area, even the part from the inside that you don't see, just because I wanted to keep it consistent. So yep, if you're gonna make your own figure and you're gonna like pose it in many ways very often, I would not suggest that you paint areas like that where there's two surfaces that are going to you know, have friction, and because that friction will cause the paint to scratch off. But I am probably gonna keep this figure just there. Like, that's what I do with all my figures. I just keep them there and I don't move them at all, even though I do like all four sides on the legs and all, even though I don't move them or pose them that much at all. So yeah, and on the torso, since I'm done with the arms for now, on the torso I'm gonna keep painting the design, the muscles, which I said I would paint but I haven't. So I'm gonna head and paint those on. I'm gonna do his chest area, and that'll be that. And once I'm ready to do the belt and the Batman logo, I shall come back with you guys, and we will go with that. So yeah, let's get to it, guys. So I just finished painting all these details that you see additional on the torso. I did all the muscles, the chest, and not all, but some of the textures from the suit that are on the reference figure that we have here. I didn't do all of them, but I did do some, and I didn't do all of them because I still wanted to like add stuff onto it, like the three-dimensional belt that I'm gonna glue and show you how to make, and I want to do a three-dimensional bat, which will be pretty hard, I'm sure, but I still want to do that just because I want to make this figure a cool figure, and I think that would be a very nice touch to the figure. So I think what's gonna happen next is I'm gonna paint a little bit on the hips, like the continuation of the pattern that he has on his chest, torso slash body, whatever, and I will come back and I will tell you what's gonna happen next, because I'm sure after that we're gonna start making the belt. But yeah, so let's get into that. So I did the continuation of the pattern onto the hips, as you can see there, and now we're gonna do the belt. So I'm gonna take a piece of this transparent plastic, which I have right here, and I'm gonna take some scissors and I'm gonna cut a a rectangle long enough so that it'll go across the torso, and we want to make a very cool figure. So I mean, this is up to you. I mean, if you want to do the back as well, then go for it. Even though there's gonna be the cape right there, so I might do something on the back, I'm not sure, but at least for now I'm gonna do the front belt. So I mean, the other option that you have is of course using the new belt piece that can go right on top, and you don't have to worry about anything else other than getting the belt, of course, which I believe there's an extra one in each set, because I mean, every Batman and Batgirl have a yellow one, so you would get an extra piece with those two figures if you were to get any of those sets. So yeah, I'm gonna cut out a plastic piece. I'm gonna do it right now, and of course with scissors, and you're just gonna make sure that the rectangle is long enough and has enough body for the belt to work out. Now there's many ways to make a belt. Like, you can make a simple belt, which would be like that, if you can see right there. That's long enough for the torso to go across it. You could always do like one piece. If you're gonna do like various layers belt, just put this piece on, of course trim it a little bit, and then cut out tiny rectangles and put them on top of the belt. But what I did for my Batman vs Superman was that I cut out 3 individual pieces and started gluing them onto the torso, I believe, or they might be individual ones. No, it's what I actually did was I took a piece of paper, did a very thin strap, and I glued it on. Then I cut out 3 individual pieces, 2 pouches, the buckle, and 2 pouches. Then I glued them on and then painted them on, which is a very cool effect. I might actually do that. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna take a little piece of paper, which I have around here. So got some paper here, and I'm gonna cut out a very thin piece. I'm gonna glue it on, then I'm gonna cut out 3 individual pieces for the belt, the 2 pouches with the buckle and 2 pouches, and then I'm gonna glue them on, and then I will come back once I'm done with that, and you shall see me paint it once it's done. So yeah, Alright guys, so I made the base of the belt right here. I added the 3 additional plastic pieces to the piece of paper that I'm going to glue onto the figure, but first I think I'm going to paint the entire thing black so that the whole base is black, because I just glued them on, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue it on. So I'm going to show it to you once it's already glued on, so I'm going to skip the video just like I've been doing, and we shall be back with you shortly. Guys, so I did what I said I was gonna do. I painted the belt and I put the arms on, and it's looking fantastic. I believe so. It almost looks like a Batman. It just needs the cape, the Batman logo, and the cowl, and that'll be it, pretty much. With a few details, of course, like on the arms. And I know this is probably a very long video, but I want to thank you guys for sticking around. And I mean, if you're very interested in making your own Lego Batman figure, well, I think this is gonna help you a lot. Making that, building that, making that, creating that, painting that. But anyways, right now I'm gonna make the last 3 additional just 3 additional 3-dimensional items, which are going to be the wrist thingies that I don't know what they're called, and the Batman logo, which is going to be hard, but I want to try it out, and we're gonna see how it looks, and I hope it looks pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut out a little piece of plastic with my scissors. Here they are, and I'm not gonna record myself, but I will record the final design of the bat. So I'll see you when I have that ready. So I'll be right back, guys. So just an update, I was not able to do the actual bat logo, so I just went ahead and made a oval shape and then glued it onto the torso, because that's much simpler. So I'm just gonna go ahead and paint the bat logo onto the oval, which I think is also accurate, because, you know, there's the, I mean, even the same Lego Batman movie, the version that they're using for that Batman has the oval with the yellow logo on it, but since I already am using gold, I am also gonna paint the oval gold, just as you can see right there. And there was another problem as well. The arms, as I said earlier, the paint with the friction does not work, so I had to take the paint from the sides off, and from the part that touches the sides of the torso from the arms as well. I'm gonna show it to you right now. I was not expecting, like there you can see I had to scratch that part off and the whole side of it off, so that wouldn't happen anymore. I knew that would happen, but I didn't know it was gonna happen by just, I don't know, by not moving anything, because I did move anything. I was just moving the arm like just a little tiny bit. It wasn't even touching the surface, and it got stuck, and it started to peel off, so I had to fix that. But like, I wasn't doing anything crazy with it. But that's what happens. I mean, you never know when it comes to making a custom figure. Like, none of this is planned. I'm just giving you guys what I have. And I mean, like the plan that I had was to make the bat logo. I was not able to do that. I don't have the skill to carve that little tiny bat and glue it on. So I'm just trying to give you something that looks like Batman, and I still think the oval with the bat logo will still look very good on this one. But anyways, that's pretty much it for this segment. I'm gonna wait for this to dry up, and I will come back to you when there's more stuff on the figure. So yeah, I'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I glued on the arm braces thingies, and I painted the logo, as I said, I was not able to make the actual bat logo three-dimensional. Like, I don't know, I don't have the skill to carve a tiny bat like that, so I just went ahead and I cut out an oval piece and I glued it on just like I already mentioned, and there's the logo. I think it looks very good, very good. I basically did this logo, so I think it looks very good. I'm very happy with it, and I'm also happy with the arm thingies. I mean, I know they aren't like spikes, but I mean those are pretty hard to make, but I think it looks fantastic how it is. So the next step will be to work with the head, which I will do next, the cowl in the head. However, I want to but I want to add some minor details to the back, so I'm going to do like muscles and very basic stuff, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're going to go over the head and the cowl, because there's something that I think it's gonna look very cool on Batman. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the back of Batman. So yeah, I'll be right back. So I went ahead and I added a little bit of varnish to the logo and to the belt, so now it's all shiny and beautiful. And on the back I did do a few details, like muscle details, and you can see that the paint is still drying up on the belt, because I was like, well, why not make another three-dimensional belt on the back just to keep it all consistent. So I'm gonna paint the belt. It's gonna be basically the same pattern as the front, but of course instead of a buckle it's gonna have a just a blank space right there with two and two pouches. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set this aside, and we're gonna start working on the head and the cowl here. So what I did on my Batman vs Superman figure is that I added eyes to the figure, and that is well, I'm gonna show you right now. What I basically did was that I painted the the white band all white, all black, and then I painted two white eyes and then two smaller dots, as you can see there. It does look a little bit creepy, but I think it looks very good with the cowl on, much more realistic other than just white eyes. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint the white band. I think for this one I'm just gonna do the front one, which is the more serious expression on the face. I might do both, I don't know. And just a little tip, the paint is gonna give a little bit more volume to the build of the head, so it would be a nice thing to carve just a little tiny bit off the cowl inside. So just take the X-Acto knife, and this is why we will use the X-Acto knife. We would go in and just carve a little bit out, just a tiny bit, not a lot, where the eyes go, just to make sure that the paint doesn't scratch off as we put the cowl on. But it's not like you're gonna be taking it on and off all the time, but still it would be a nice thing to do. So I'm gonna go ahead and paint that, and I will come back once I'm done. Alright, so I went ahead and I painted the thingy black, and I painted the eyes. I hope they are completely aligned to the cowl, and something that I did to the cowl was that I painted the whole cowl with black, just to make sure that the black on the cowl goes along with the black that I painted onto the torso, like the boots and the wraps on his wrists and all that, just to make one single black tone. I mean, other than the hands, but I guess that's okay. So yeah, so I have to wait for the cowl to dry. I kind of forgot to carve a little bit inside. I know I did mention that, but I got distracted and I just went ahead and painted the whole cowl. So I'm gonna wait for this to dry, then I'm gonna carve a little bit out, and then I'm gonna put it on. And let's just hope it works out. And I know that painting the eyes on like this is gonna be a little bit hard, especially to have them both aligned perfectly. I mean, I hope they look good with the cowl on, so we're gonna wait and see. But before we do that, I'm just gonna wait for this to dry. So for now, I'm just gonna take the batarang and I'm gonna do a little modification on it. So this is optional, but I thought I would give it a try. I'm gonna cut out I'm gonna trim it right here, just to make it seem a little bit more, I don't know, movie-like, I guess. So we're gonna take it there, we're gonna cut it just like that, and it's trimmed. And again, this design was, this idea was from another YouTuber, another customizer. I'm very sorry, I do not remember who it was, but shout out to whoever came up with this little idea for Batman vs Superman batarang. And I guess like this looks more like a batarang from the movie because it's smaller and all. You just put it on the figure and it'll look pretty good. I guess you could sand the little ends a little bit with sandpaper. I'm gonna do that, not on camera though. And I mean, I guess you could carve a little bit these areas just to make it seem a little bit like more arch, give it more arch. But I'm gonna leave it like that. And yeah, that's the batarang. And I mean, I guess we could use these for something else later. It'll depend. But yeah, that's the batarang. And I mean, the cape. And I mean, honestly, that's pretty much it for Batman. We're just gonna wait for him to dry up. And oh, and I painted the belt on the back. I just went with a simple blank place because I mean, you're not gonna be able to see it on the back, but it's optional. I honestly, I'm feeling lazy right now. That's why I'm not doing the buckles, not buckles, the pouches. I mean, I don't know, like making a custom figure, it's just tedious sometimes. It gets tedious when you don't have a break in the middle. I mean, I've been working on this figure for like a few hours now, and it's been crazy. So yeah, that is pretty much it for this section. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna come back once the cowl is in place and the whole figure is assembled. Unless there's something else that comes out, I will let you guys know. So I will be right back, guys, and this video is so close to coming to an end, and I want to thank you so much for sticking around if you have until this point in the video. Anyways, guys, I will be right back. And so guys, that is pretty much it. I am excited to announce that I finally finished my Batman figure, and honestly I think it looks way better than my Batman vs Superman figure that I did last year, with much more detail, much more done to it, more paint applied, I guess, and just in general it looks way better. I think like, I don't know if it's my skills or maybe because I went and bought or used the original figure and then I painted onto this figure. But with this one, I started from scratch and that was fun. I hope this video was inspiring for you, and I hope this helps you if you want to make your own Lego Batman figure. And feel free to use any techniques you like from this video to use on your own custom figures. If you do make a custom Batman figure after watching my video, please let me know. Post a link in the comments or just tell me, hey, I made a Batman video. I will definitely take a look. I know I don't always answer your comments when you tell me that you make a figure, or when you tell me to check out your figures. I do check them out, but I don't always have the time to respond, but I do check them all out because I love looking for more custom figures, because this is what I like to do. So I try to feel inspired as much as I can out of someone else's work. So anyways guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this was helpful for you again, and feel free to subscribe if you haven't. That goes a long way, and thank you guys for supporting me. Please leave a like if this video was helpful, and if not, then still leave a like and leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Would you like me to do another tutorial on another figure? I kind of made this tutorial just because I wanted to, not because someone asked me to, but still, if you have questions, please put them in the comments and I will do my best to answer them. And I will definitely do another tutorial. I just don't know when, but it'll be a couple months from now if I do another tutorial on a figure. But I know that this has been a long video, so I'm just gonna let you all guys go, and I will see you guys later in my next video. So take care everyone, and peace out. Goodbye.